growing desperation outside the airport, the Taliban controlling checkpoints. While inside the airport tonight, the State Department now reporting 6,000 people are at the Kabul airport, cleared for departure now, waiting to leave. And that number, 20 flights to take off tonight. The other major headline developing word tonight that U.S. diplomats at the U.S. Embassy in Kabul reportedly warned the Biden administration, the Secretary of State, that the Afghan government was at risk of collapse as the Taliban was sweeping across the country in recent weeks. And reports that a cable was sent on July 13th. A source telling ABC News it called for the Biden administration to begin an airlift operation immediately for Afghans who helped the U.S.
Tonight, the new urgency in Kabul, with as many as 15,000 Americans and up to 60,000 Afghans who've helped the U.S. mission in limbo, desperate to escape. Inside the airport, the State Department late today said as many as 6,000 Americans and Afghans have been processed and cleared for evacuation from the country. And tonight, 20 flights waiting to get them to safety. But this evening, the images from outside the airport, where Taliban fighters struggle to keep control, using guns and batons against civilians. Reports at least 12 people have now been killed since Sunday by either stampede or gunfire. The Pentagon saying 13 C-17s have landed and more than 5,200 US troops are now in Kabul, attempting to process more people faster. But some planes departing with empty seats because people can't get through the checkpoints.
Taliban fighters in Afghanistan have shot and killed a relative of Deutsche Welle journalist while hunting for him, the German public broadcaster has said. The terrorists were conducting a house-to-house search for the journalist, who now works in Germany, DW said in a statement on Thursday. A second relative was seriously wounded, but others were able to escape, it said, without giving any further details. DW Director General Peter Lemberg condemned the attack, which he said showed the danger to the media workers and their families in Afghanistan. The killing of a close relative of one of our editors by Taliban yesterday is tragic and testifies to the acute danger in which all our employees and their families in Afghanistan find themselves, he said. The Taliban had raided the home of at least 3 other DW journalists, the broadcaster said. DW and other German media organizations have called on the German government to take swift action to help their Afghan staff.
"16 people have died and 2 others are in intensive care in Lithuania after consuming homemade alcohol. The poisonings have all occurred in a district in the country's second largest city, Kaunas. Toxicologists say the illegal distillers created a lethal alcohol proxy called methyl alcohol.
It's probably the most poisonous surrogate of alcohol. It's insidious because in terms of its characteristics, it almost does not differ from usual alcohol. This lethal dose is 30 milliliters. 30 milliliters is a standard serving of normal alcohol.
Police searched several buildings in the area and found more than 1 distribution point for the alcohol.
I'm the speaker.
A man who claimed to have a bomb in a pickup truck near the U.S. Capitol on Thursday surrendered to police after a 5-hour standoff. The incident prompted an evacuation of nearby buildings, including the Supreme Court, and paralyzed a section of the nation's capital for much of the day.
And if you want to take me out, take me out.
A video live streamed on Facebook showed the suspect, identified as Floyd Ray Roseberry from North Carolina, making remarks about President Joe Biden from inside a truck.
If you blow my truck up, man, hey, it's on you, Joe. I'm ready to die for the cause. The revolution's on. I cannot set this bomb off. The only thing that can set this bomb off is enough decimal.
Shia Muslims walk towards the shrine of Imam al-Hussein in the city of Karbala, 80 kilometers south of Baghdad. This is where he was killed in battle 1300 years ago. His fight against injustice is reenacted here by men and boys flagellating themselves to recall the agonies suffered by the Imam. Visitors from several countries take part in the procession. Most are from Iran. Shia clerics had urged the faithful to get vaccinated ahead of the ceremonies.
It is the biggest class action lawsuit that the United Kingdom has seen. 46 million customers are fighting Mastercard, the financial services company. What happens if Mastercard loses? It could be asked to pay a whopping $26 billion. What is the case all about? Credit card fees. When a customer swipes a credit card at a store, the card company charges a fee from the shopkeeper to enable the payment. This is called interchange fees. 5 years ago, British financial ombudsman Walter Merricks brought a suit against Mastercard. He said that the company charged excessive interchange fees between May 1992 and June 2008. The retailers didn't want to pay out of their pocket, so they asked their customers to pay extra for swiping their Mastercards. Now, Merrick wants Mastercard to pay damages to every customer who paid extra.
These are some of the survivors of Wednesday's attack. Gunmen targeted government forces as they escorted a convoy, but 59 civilians were killed. The ambush is the latest in a wave of attacks in West Africa's Sahel region this month, where armed groups including Al-Qaeda and Isil operate. On Monday, more than 37 civilians, including children, were killed in an attack in a village in Niger. Last week, 51 people were shot dead in northern Mali in an apparent revenge attack after several rebel leaders were arrested. Thousands of people have been killed and almost 2 million people displaced in violence across the border areas of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger over the past decade. Security analysts say there isn't a common approach to tackle fighters, despite 3 peacebuilding forces deployed in the region.
A U.S.-Israeli delegation signed agreements with Morocco in Rabat Tuesday, cementing a Washington-sponsored normalization of relations between the Jewish state and the North African country. 4 bilateral deals were signed, centering on direct air links, water management, and a visa waiver arrangement for diplomats. This declaration will be from now on the roadmap for the 3 countries when it comes to the Moroccan Sahara and the Moroccan-Israeli relationship and the establishment of peace and stability in the Middle East in general. Thank you. Tuesday's declaration included a commitment to immediately resume official contacts between Israeli and Moroccan counterparts, with all parties agreeing to fully implement their sides of the bargain before the end of January.